This is Lasting Conversations, and I'm
Hi.
your host, Heather Lockett. We're in Paris, France today with my good friend Betty Rojas. Hi, Betty.
Hi, Heather.
Hey, it's so great. We're all patched in here via computers and Zooms and phones and earpods. So this is a work of technology. So it's very great that here in the States it's the eve of Thanksgiving, and but Betty is in Paris, France, having a different kind of Thanksgiving. So Betty is
That's right.
it is very true. Betty's an accomplished musician, singer, percussionist, teacher, and all around love. And so I'm very excited to have this chat. Betty, well, we were just talking before we came online here about Miami. So what did bring you to Paris? And I'm going to jump right into Honeybee as well. But what brought you to Paris
Hmm.
from Miami?
Well, when I was 12 years old, my family took a holiday. It was our first holiday. We took a plane and we came to Europe. And I was a young, impressionable girl still. I was about 12. And I just fell in love with Paris. And the seed was planted. I said, someday I'm going to live in this beautiful city. And then I kept coming back. I felt really drawn to Paris. I came when I was 19 for a séjour linguistique, like a linguistic stay. And then I returned again at 26 to study at the Sorbonne. It was a course of French civilization. And I returned again with NYU in Paris in French literature. And then to study theater, physical theater. Mime with some disciples of Etienne Decroux. And then at the school, Jacques Lecoq, which I loved because it was physical theater. I think it was the rhythm that really drew me to the physical theater. And then as I was in the school, I had done 1 year. The second year, I got accepted into the second year. But I just took a detour and started playing Afro-Cuban polyrhythms. I discovered my roots. I had to come all the way to Europe to rediscover. My parents are Cuban. So I grew up in Miami, but with my back kind of turned to Cuba. And in Paris, I discovered Afro-Cuban drumming. And it just grabbed me. I thought, this is what I want to do. So I started drumming and learning and studying. And so before I knew it, I got recruited for an all-woman salsa band in the 90s when there was a big salsa craze.
Yes.
In Paris.
Mm-hmm.
And I just rode the wave. I was in the right place at the right time. And that group played in all the festivals. We played every weekend. There were clubs in Paris at the time that could really welcome big bands, little big bands. There were 10 of us in the group. And we played at La Coupole, La Java, La Chapelle des Lombards, all the dancing clubs. They don't really exist anymore, but at the time they still existed. Les Étoiles. People would go to dance, and they liked dancing to a live band. And so we played. When we weren't playing in festivals, we were in the clubs. And I was having so much fun, and I thought, well, I'll just stay a little longer. And I was I was earning a good livelihood, and I was having fun. I thought, well, I'll stay a little longer. And before I knew it, I set roots, and I got married. I had a child, and I just stayed. And my life unfolded here in Paris.
Oh, that's so fun.
Initially, yeah.
Before you know it, yeah.
It was,
Before you knew it, you were entrenched in a whole nother country and creating a whole nother life. And those concerts and all of that sounds so. So were you there as a dancer or a percussionist or some of all of it?
Percussionist and backing vocalist. I mean, I never could have imagined that. I came to Paris to try to learn French and live in Paris. And I thought, well, maybe I can work as a translator because I grew up bilingual in Miami, speaking Spanish and English. And I thought, well, if I learn a third language, I can maybe work as a translator. And at NYU in New York, after my first, the second trip to France, I went back to school in French literature, and my teacher really encouraged me to work as a translator. And I thought, well, I can do that. So I tried to get into a really competitive translation school, and they didn't accept me. So I remember being sad and sitting in the park and thinking, oh, what'll I do? What'll I do? And I think the very next day I got called to play with this salsa band. And so I thought, well, I am interpreting. I'm just interpreting songs.
Well,
it's probably
beautiful.
a lot more fun and a lot less stressful than working as an interpreter. So.
Well, and music has that way. Music has that way. So, but at this point, you are still working with children and English as a second language, or tell us about some of those adventures. And you had mentioned to me the other day about utilizing music as you're teaching.
Yes. Well, because I use the resources I have for my interests, and I really like to sing and I like rhythm. And so, and since language can be approached in a musical way, the language has melody and rhythm, and I thought, well, why don't I use my skills and my interests and make the classes more lively and fun for myself as well as for the people I'm working with. And so, because music is so, as they say in French, aléatoire, it's so up and down, it's not very regular, it's not very steady work. Sometimes I get a lot of gigs, and sometimes there are less gigs. So I've always done odd jobs here and there. And one of the things I found that I could get a lot of work in was English, because most families want their kids to learn English. They see the value of speaking English. Now, France has changed a lot since I've been here. I've been here for over 30 years. But everyone wants to speak English now. And I like working with kids. I like the fun of it, and so all the kids in my building, pretty much through word of mouth, ended up studying with me. I remember the first kids I worked with. I thought, well, what's fun for them? What's engaging? And all kids like to sing, and it doesn't feel like work. It just feels like play when they're learning a song or playing rhythms or hand clapping. So I ended up using rhythm and rhyme for teaching, and that worked very well. And I've also been had opportunities to work with disabled kids, adults, and I also use rhythm and rhyme and melodies, pretty melodies, to teach English. And so that's something I've enjoyed doing parallel to playing and singing. I'm a percussionist who likes to sing more than a singer. But over the years, I found myself, I first started just singing backing vocals, then doing like real harmonies, second voices. And then now I sing more lead. So I've stepped up to that a little. I really love singing. I've always spent my life singing.
I'm going to be itching to ask you to give us a little taste of that. But when you were talking about the rhythm, rhyme, and melody and utilizing the beat and the percussion while you're teaching another language is really so fun, because don't you think that music itself has been the first language of all mankind, the very harmonics and what we hear, and then there's sight and there's sound. And so to put it together, that music is our language universally.
That's right. Absolutely. That's why I inject the English classes with rhythm, because I think in melody, because I really think that, I enjoy that. And also, it's not like I have a mission to teach English to the world. My passion is rhythm and harmonies. And I think it is universal language. And so, since there's more demand for teaching English and more opportunities, more work opportunities, I've just been doing both at the same time.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
And people seem to like that. I put in body rhythm so they understand where the energy of the word is. Sometimes people will say the word correctly, but they'll just, emphasize or accent the wrong syllable, and then people can't understand them. So we do body rhythm so they can embody the energy of the word, and they can feel it, and then they remember better.
Oh, wow.
And we have fun.
Well, and this is where it's a little too bad that we're not on video recording right now to catch the full visual. But if I'm understanding you, are you incorporating and having the students utilize their body with as the music is going, as you're teaching, to have that very embodiment? It's sort of a dance lesson / English / music class. Is this what you're describing?
That's right. We use all our resources. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you.
No,
yes, exactly. We use all our resources, and so I invite them to. I do it once, and I invite them to maybe tap. For example, I can tap on my body rhythm. I can tap on my chest, exactly, and then against my other hand to make like a catastrophe. For example, a word in French, it's the same word. It's catastrophe, but it's spelled the same. So there, maybe an adult is used to that word, has been saying that word the same way his whole life, and so they're going to see and they'll say catastrophe. But if you say it in English, in an English context, people might not understand it. So we kind of dance the catastrophe. Can you hear it? Catastrophe.
I love it.
Anyway, so we play with this body rhythm. That's it's a tool. We all have our bodies in our hands. I mean, most people. And it's yeah. So I've been having fun with that. But what I really love the most is singing and drumming. With the salsa band, I really got a kick out of uplifting people's spirits and getting people to dance. The groove. I'm more of a groove girl. I had the good fortune of working with a wonderful drummer whose name is Leon Parker for many years, and he initiated me into the vocal body rhythm, he called it. We had a technique that was using keeping the pulse with our feet, walking together in a circle, and then he would give like circle songs, the Bobby McFerrin circle songs.
Yes.
So he would do that with rhythms. He would separate us into sections. Say we were 9, we'd gather in parts, and we, he loved that. That was really his passion. And he's a wonderful jazz drummer, but he just loved doing body rhythm, and he made compositions. That was his thing. And so he'd invite us to go to the park, and we'd, stand around in a circle, and then we'd all walk together, and then he'd give us each part. And once we had the polyrhythm going, kind of gelled it, then people would solo on that. And it was so much fun. And it created a lot of joy, a lot of unity. And I thought, well, we should do this. We should make these circles, these rhythm circles all over, because it's so much fun and they're accessible to everybody. And through the phenomenon of, the fact of entrainment, because, we become one, and it's sort of, you're riding this unified wave of polyrhythms, and it's just really fun and joyful and creates unity and good vibes. So we did that a lot with Leon. He's not in Paris anymore. But when he was in town, we'd all get together in the park. I remember once this park, the guardian blew the whistle on us, and he came over and he said, no folklore in the park.
No folklore? No folklore in the park?
Folklore.
Oh my goodness.
So we were like, what? No folklore in the park. So we had to stop.
Oh my goodness. How?
Anyway.
That's really funny.
No folklore in the park.
That's really funny.
And so, yeah, it's kind of silly.
So,
but,
I'm loving this. And again, with the technology, go ahead and put your mic up a little bit closer, and we're going to enjoy many more of your stories. So I'm still stuck on the no folklore in the park, because isn't that what parks are for? That's exactly.
Well, French parks are a little different than American parks.
Oh my goodness.
There's always like a guardian that's ready to blow his whistle. Yeah. No, anyway, but that was a particularly funny moment. He stopped us. No folklore in the park.
So
I don't really know. It was so absurd.
So you're doing these percussion circles in and around the city. Are they focused with children and families, or with women and meditation circles, or just in clubs and for fun, or all of the above?
Well, no, but, it was a project that I had a few years ago, and I never really developed it. We would do it with Leon. When he was in town, he would gather us together, and we'd call musicians of all sorts, singers, musicians, and we do that regularly, just for the fun of it. And it was also a good way to he would compose, he'd make compositions based on these sessions that we had in the park. So I'm not always in the park. Sometimes we would rent a dance studio, or, we did regular sessions. And he authorized me. I think we did a workshop once in Switzerland, and I was his assistant, and he authorized me to do his, to teach his method. And I think I did try a few years ago. I rented a dance studio in the neighborhood, but I guess I didn't do the communication enough, and so there weren't enough people signed up, and I gave up too quickly. I think I regret that, because it's a good idea. It's really a fun thing to share, and it's something that comes easily to me, and I enjoy it. And I think what we enjoy, other people enjoy too, and it's a good way of spreading, spreading joy and unity, and working together, because we're deep listening, and it's just a lot of fun. So I actually started again last year. I have a friend who's a teacher, a Spanish teacher. She lives in my neighborhood, and she invited me one day to go to her class with her kids. And she said, "You want to sing a song or play some percussion?" And I got them all to do a cha-cha-cha. I got them all to do polyrhythm, separated different parts of the different. One was doing like the cowbell, one group was doing the conga pattern, and the other group was doing the guido pattern. And then I got them all to sing backing vocals, and it turned into a little party, a cha-cha-cha party, and everybody had fun. And the kids who looked really underslept and kind of, when I first walked in, they all looked a bit dazed and underslept. It was 8:30 in the morning. You can imagine, a classroom full of like underslept teens. And I thought, I hope they like this, and they connected, they were engaged, and we had a great time. And so that worked so well that she spoke about my intervention to some of her friends. And so last year, I ended up doing that like 4 or 5 times throughout the year with different classes. So this year, I got out my courage. I said, okay, I'm going to do this because it works, and it's easy for me, and it's fun. And so last week, I actually started. I was doing an evening with a friend who wanted to organize a workshop on celebrating life, and she did some movements, some stretching. And she said, "Betty, why don't you do something?" And I said, "Well, okay, I'm going to do some body rhythm. I'm going to do a rhythm circle and a sound bath, because I've been working with subtle sounds over the last 7 years, let's say. For the first part of my adult life, I was basically just doing grooves and playing for dancers. And then playing Afro-Cuban music, Afro-Cuban Latin jazz, or Afro-Cuban dance music. Mm-hmm. And then I love the grooves. That's my thing, really. Mm-hmm. But I felt more drawn to subtle sound, and I thought, well, it made me feel so good, so relaxed, to go to gong baths and to receive, tuning forth sound meditations or sound healings that I started studying. I worked with Philippe Garnier, the Sage Academy of Sound Healing. I worked with Don Conroe. I did all the workshops I could do, and I realized that, I feel like my path is sort of diverging, but I still love playing grooves. I still love rhythm, So, but I'm enjoying subtle sounds as well.
The subtle sounds.
These are two.
Yes. Yeah. Well, here they're known as sound baths. And so subtle sound, sound baths, all the beautiful vibrationary tones with the different instruments that are very relaxing, and they're a lot of fun. They really are a lot of fun. Very therapeutic.
Very therapeutic.
Very therapeutic.
It helps us. Yeah. very restorative. It helps us move beyond our mind, because the mind can't understand all the harmonics. The harmonics that create babies, and their babies make babies with sounds, and then the mind can't follow anymore, and it finally just lets go.
That's
and
so
that's
true.
when things get interesting.
That is so true. It is so true. It just, and there is the going right back to music. This is the harmonics of the universe and in and through all of us and all those merry tunes and the very notion of a lullaby, right? The children that we sing to, the babies who know all these sounds from while they're in the womb. Those are subtle sounds. Those are beautiful, subtle sounds.
Yeah.
And so let's hop over to Honeybee. Let's hop right over to Honeybee and more of your singing. And you have a delightful partner with your duet, Honeybee. And will you tell us about that? And I'm sure I don't want us to end this chat before you sing us some sort of a little merry tune. Because that would sound so lovely. But so
well, it would. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Honeybee is actually, speaking of babies, it's the new baby. Honeybee is the
congratulations.
New project that thanks. It was born about a year ago with a friend who's the other Honeybee. There's two of us. It's a duo. And I came up with the name of the group, but it's based on a song he wrote called Honeybee. And it's too bad that we don't have a recording. We did an interview together with an Irish woman, and she recorded 3 of our songs in the studio. And one of them was Honeybee. There's one called, Michael Anakin. He's a prolific writer, poet. He's a really good poet and wonderful guitar player. And he invited me over one day during the confinement, I think. And I was getting stir crazy here in the studio loft. I really wanted to get out, and there were no more gigs, no concerts. Everything was shut down. So I started working with friends, actually, playing bata drums. I play bata drums, and with Michael, just goofing around in his living room, and he was playing the songs to me. I thought, these are great, and we just organically started singing. He played his guitar, and I played this Cuban cajon, which I play sideways on a side saddle, because I like the bass sound that I hear when the opening of the bottom of the drum is to the side. I hear the bass there, and also I can play with my hands. I wish I could show you, from side to side instead of from up. Instead of playing up to down, I was playing kind of with my hands hitting up. If that makes any sense. I like on the side, almost like a fish would swim with little gills or fins to the side. You see, instead of hitting the drum, inviting the drum to sound from up to down. When you hit a drum, usually you hit from up to down. Well, when you play drums like bata, the polka drum, which is the drum that I love, it's like my movement meditation. I play bata drum. You play from side to side. The skins are on the side. You play sideways, and it stimulates your fourth chakra, your heart. It feels really nice to play sideways and not up and down. Anyway, so
you've created a whole nother harmonic there. Basically, you've created a whole nother, a different way of having that drum make its noises.
Playing,
yeah,
it just feels better. You're playing more open. It just feels like you're more open when you're playing, and I like to play that way. No, people don't really play that way. They probably think I'm silly to do that. It's a Cuban drummer would say, "What are you doing? What is she doing?" But
you're creating something new.
Traditional way.
Yeah, you're creating something.
It isn't a traditional way of playing the Cuban cajon, but I enjoy playing it that way. So with Michael, we started playing the cajon and the guitar and just singing harmonies to his songs, his poems. And I fell in love with Honeybee. That was one of the real. And I love it. He's a bit older than I am, and he's just more laid back, and he's real laid back. And so the song was like going
which really, towards, I will just say, knowing you, that is saying something, because you're very laid back. you're a beautiful.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Every time we've been together, and I consider you a just a lovely love and quite laid back. So this gentleman must really be laid back.
Well, thanks. Yeah, in any case, I felt like we were going more towards, like you said, lullabies, more towards a quiet kind of music where we're inviting people to, come in and listen to it rather than bombarding them with volume. We're just, singing real quiet and we're inviting them. Actually, we played a couple of gigs here in Paris, and the greatest pleasure is the most gratifying moments were when we played real quietly and we felt that the people quieted down to hear, to kind of lean in to listen. And that's really nice. It's a new thing for me to play real soft, to invite people to lean in to listen. So with Honeybee, we can be lively too and get rhythmic and lively, but what I loved about Honeybee from the beginning was that song Honeybee. And you gotta hear it with both of us. Otherwise, because they're vocal harmonies, we're a duo. But so I said, why don't we call ourselves Honeybee? And we kept meeting once, sometimes twice a week, and it just grew organically. Before we knew, we had a whole repertoire. And we got a couple of years. And so and now we want to record. The other day we were talking about recording a kid's song because, it's like folk, it's between folk and pop, country rock. It's quiet folk music and it's real. And a lot of kids' music, nowadays are kind of electrical or I don't know. I think there's room.
There's absolutely room
for our kind of music.
Yeah, it's and it's very eclectic, and it's an interesting, lovely mashup of different genres that you bring together. I think people will love it. If you're creating a whole album, I will certainly want to purchase it. It's going to be. Do you have a few tunes you want to give us? Is there like a chorus or something of Honeybee?
But by myself, it won't have such. It will be missing the other half, I guess.
I know. Well, it can be something else. It can be something else.
I can sing a song that I wrote called "The Water."
Okay, good.
And it's in our repertoire. We play it too. Michael wanted to include it right away. I've only written that one. Well, I've written a song and a half, and I actually helped write another song with him. But this one is something I've been singing for years, and it was. A dream I had of marrying my higher self. It's a love song to my higher self.
Beautiful.
And it's called "The Water." And I usually play it. Let me see if I can put down the mic. I play it. Let me see if you can hear it. Can you hear? I'm tapping on my thighs.
Oh, good.
Can you hear the rhythm?
I do.
What is? Yeah. Okay. So that's the thing. The love I feel so deep inside must be at least 3 oceans wide. I'm floating in the sea, the gentle waves of bliss. With you by my side and your guiding hand, I'm becoming more to a truly am. Awakened and enlivened by the sweet presence. Ooh, water. I surrender, I allow myself to take this joyful vow to walk hand in hand with you earth and beyond. I love you, so blessed, no love so true. I am you and you are me when we're swimming in the water. Ooh, the water. Ooh, the water. Ooh, the water. Feel like a child with a brand new toy, so filled with wonder, filled with joy. I just can't find the happiness I feel inside. Joy to the fishes in the deep blue sea. We're made of love, meant to be free. I am you, are we are singing in the water. Ooh, the water. Ooh, the water. Ooh, water. Ooh.
Yay!
Water. It was kind of long. I should have made it shorter. Maybe you can do it, edit it a little bit. It's a bit longer. Anyway, so that was the water.
Oh,
And
that's
then
beautiful.
it's a little,
And you know, it's
a little,
just
little angel.
oh
So,
no.
little angel tuning. So yeah, that was my firstborn song, and I think I'm gonna create a little space every day to write some simple tunes for kids. You know, even for my own classes with the kids. You know, and try to record them with Michael with Honeybee.
Yay!
We also we're gonna do his songs for adults, but we have those two projects. And I'm really excited about it. It's fun. It's just a lot of fun. And voila. And so we play that song too, but it sounds better with the guitar and the other voices as well.
Et voila. I love it. I love it so much. And you know what? I have to say that given the technology and it almost, I was sort of taken away thinking, oh, is this like a gramophone, a different kind of a recording? And so all being very spontaneous and impromptu and thigh slapping, good music. I just have adored it. Thank you for sharing that really, really beautiful song. Really beautiful
in its
song.
simplest form.
In its very simplest.
Like naked. Naked song.
It's a very naked song.
Yeah.
Which anybody can sing. Kids and families and everybody can sing. And go sing it in a park.
Yeah.
Have some folklore in a park.
Yeah, exactly. It's a sing-along. It is a sing-along. When we play it, people sing along the refrain.
Right.
The chorus.
Right.
The water is very much a sing-along.
Oh, my goodness. Imagine it in a pool or by the beach.
What?
Imagine it in a pool or by the beach or something. You could really make a whole lot.
Right. It's like a campfire song.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Oh.
Well, Honeybee is very folklorish. Yeah. I mean, when we get organized, we're not technically so savvy. We're just beginning to organize we're going to record some good quality recordings and put them out there on SoundCloud or YouTube. Yeah. And I will send them your way.
Beautiful. And I think that song is on SoundCloud, the official Honeybee song. Is that right?
Well, we did do that one interview with the Irish woman, and we recorded pretty good quality in that interview, but I don't really know. I don't think we put it out there on SoundCloud. No, we should. We're
yes, please.
We need to get some technical assistance.
Yes, please.
I need to get some. Actually, we're going to begin next week we did a gig at a school here of young sound engineers, and they really they digged our music, and they were like, "Let us know when you play, we'll come." And they did. We played at a place called the Cat Cafe, and half the school came. They were so cute. They all showed up. We had done this gig of just being like guinea pigs for these young, adult sound engineers to try different ways of miking us and getting the sound just right and doing sound checks and things. And they really liked our music. So one of them is going to come over next week and we're going to do a recording and they're going to help us out and get our things out there in the world so people can hear Honeybee. So
yay. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. Well, is there anything that you'd like to share about where you are, what you're up to for your friends and families that you work with, et cetera, in Paris? Do you have a particular gig coming up or a program that you would like to let people know about?
Well, we're the featured artists at a place called Culture Rapide. It's rapid culture. Mm-hmm. It's a place that's known for its slam and poetry readings open mic, and they've invited us. So it's a nice honor. We're their featured guests at PLU, Paris Lurap it's called. It's an Anglophone poetry circle, and they meet once a week. And so we're invited on the 15th of December to Culture Rapide as the guest artist. And because the songs are really poems first before being songs. They're Michael's poems.
Good.
And so we'll be there on the 15th. So we're also playing at a legendary cafe by the Canal Saint-Martin called Chez Adèle. This is a tiny little popular cafe that has been around for a long time. And we'll be playing there on Sunday the 18th at Chez Adèle in the 10th district in Paris. And we're hoping to put together a tour next summer. Michael's from California, I'm from Florida. And maybe put together an American tour next summer. He usually goes back to California for a month with his family. And I like to spend time in Miami with my daughter, who grew up in Paris. She's a Parisian person. She was born and raised in Paris, and then she went to live in Miami because she really likes the sun and sea, and she always went for her school holidays, and she really likes it there. And I mean, I can understand why, and I don't blame.
Sure.
So she's there now. Okay. So I've been going more regularly. I used to work as a flight attendant for American Airlines.
Oh,
my first week. Yeah.
Oh, that's a whole nother adventure. We could share another
time. That's a whole other story.
That's a whole other story.
Yeah. Anyway, so I go pretty often to Miami, and it'd be nice to organize a tour.
It sure would
next summer.
It really, really would. It's
a dream.
Playing in the park and having
East Coast, West Coast.
That would be beautiful. Betty, thank you again for joining us from Paris, and we have the time difference, and I've appreciated taking time out of your schedule and sharing your love and sharing your joy and your passion and that beautiful, beautiful song. And thanks everybody sorry. I'm so sorry. Go ahead. Yes.
No, thank you. I just wanted to say thank you. It's really nice to call. It was a pleasure talking to you. And thank you. It's a pleasure. So,
well, and
enjoy your Thanksgiving. I'm going to go make a pumpkin pie. I'm going to go make a pumpkin pie.
Have a pumpkin pie. Will you have turkey or just enjoy the pie?
No, I probably won't. I mean, I'm not, that I know of, I'm not invited unless something comes up at the last minute. But I was going to make a pumpkin pie just to mark the occasion,
Good. Yeah. All right. Thank you, and au revoir.
Yes. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening. Please be sure to like, follow, review, and share this podcast. And if you'd like to be part of the conversation, send emails to podcast@lastingconversations.com and follow us on Facebook. This is Lasting Conversations. We get to the heart of everything.